Hello, Chris.
Hello, alright?
Yeah. You ready to build a ship?
Yeah, go on in.
Oh, alright. I'll take time out of my schedule just for you, man. Appreciate it. So, yes, at the moment Dave is having a look at using his acclaim to buy a Klingon award. So, if folks want to have a mosey as to anything they want to get with their acclaim, now would be the time to. But first, let me confirm that everybody is in Foundry. Excuse me, hiccups. Is in Foundry and can see and operate their character sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And whomever wishes to hear something out of Sirenscape can actually hear something.
Yep.
Marvelous.
Helps if I press play.
It does help. Okay. In that case, we're just going to jump over to the intro video for just a couple of moments. We'll see you back here in, well, in a few, folks. Hello folks, and welcome along to the continuing exploits of the USS Combs. I'm MJ the GM, and I will be your games master for the next couple of hours. With me are the Combs crew, and we are today aiming to, well, use the spoils of war that were last time acquired in our last episode in order to create a brand new ship for the Combs crew to use. So, rather than just be looking at my silly old face, let me show you that I'm actually in my civvies right now, because we're not doing any kind of mission per se for Starfleet. We are building a ship. But before I get on to building a ship, hang on a second, is it worth getting an award to minimize breaches when we have Phlesc the Fixer? Well, indeed. But before we get on to that, I would like to do my usual plug of Chris's channel. Here it is, the Utter Crisp Gaming, for you to feast your eyes upon, my friends. Chris?
Thank you very much. Yeah, same as always for me, really. Just feel free to check out some retro reviews on there. Currently sort of working on the Dragon Quest one. Thinking about ideas, how to take the channel forward and make things a bit more efficient on there. But yeah, just feel free to check that out. Thank you.
You can only do what you can do with the time you got to do it. And considering how much you've got on here, dang, you do well. Anyway, let's move off, because yes, we are indeed making a ship today. So this is a bit more of a loosey-goosey session. There's not going to be any Klingons off the starboard bow unless they're hovering outside the saucer section as it's being built, which, is a possibility. But for now, let's move over to the shipyard. And
The only thing that Doc Cran was ever good at, giving us parts.
well, indeed. So let's pop on over to Narendra Station's ship docks, because we have a ship to put together. So, indeed, we should recall this session getting your ship together. I should have thought of that earlier. There we are. Nothing like coming across a good joke halfway through.
It's not too late for the YouTube title, at least.
That's going to be the YouTube title, yes.
Building a new ship and bragging about the victory yet again to her aim.
Well, what better way?
That's what Trasa is doing.
What better way to brag about recent exploits than to, pull apart the ship that you dragged back as a trophy and put it back together to your own specifications? Which was essentially what we're doing here. Giving you the opportunity to essentially pull apart one of the biggest Klingon classes of ships and, well, make a new one. So, we're essentially going to go through the process of creating our own new class of ship, a new space frame, as they call it in Star Trek Adventures. So that's what we're going to be doing. So the first thing I want to check is that, just in case folks want to follow along and have a flick through the stuff that's possible, I did last time put into our Discord channel the Utopia Planetia Starfleet Sourcebook, which is what we're going to be drawing upon primarily. But before we get there, some folks were giving their characters Klingon awards for a job well done last time. So we first find out. So Tavish, you've got the Order of Kreestak there. Nice. Let me just find. You gave yourself the Order of Kalis, which costs you 5 in acclaim, all of which you have. So you've taken the glory off. Excellent. Nice.
Anyone want an extra glory? Because I have one left I really don't. I'm not going to use.
That's fine. Yep. Save it for somebody else to use if they want to use it.
Eventually, I will get the Darhar Master award.
Oh.
But I need to have my reputation of 5.
That's for next time then. So let's just give Tavish's Order of Kreestak a Klingon insignia on it, so we can tell them apart more easily.
Thank you.
Oh, there was already an Order of Kreestak. It was under the Chaos one. I just had to get dragged and dropped. Already made.
Oh, did we?
The Klingon.
Did we already?
Yeah, I already had the Klingon. Yeah, it's right over the Order of the Batleth.
I can't see it
first
with
edition. It's under the
Tavish.
first edition stuff, so yeah. So adapting it for use with second edition must have faced, yeah, it's essentially the same thing. One's permission whenever you suffer stress, half the amount of stress. Injury, half the severity of the... Yeah, it's essentially the same thing, but in some cases they change the wording a little bit to be more in keeping with second edition stuff. So, yeah. Order of the Battle.
I've got. That means if Tavish gets hit twice, I can half it twice. Oh, I made Tavish harder to kill. Nice.
Okay. So, yes, we've essentially got the Order of Kalish. Once per adventure, when you use the direct, otherwise you may treat your d20 as if it had rolled a 1. Yeah, there's not much that needs to be different there. It works in second edition just as well as that works for first, so yeah. No problems there, Liz. Order of Kalish.
Yeah, I'm really just... It's basically I am given a termination without actually giving a determination.
Yeah, it works. Anybody else want awards or want to spend their character's acclaim while they've got it?
Yeah. Yes. I'll let Connie go first. I need to see what I can get.
So first of all, I would like to be awarded the Grand Kite Order of Tactics.
Ah. How much does that set you back?
3.
Yeah, you got more than enough.
I'll be doing it free
Conditions:
today.
must have demonstrated exceptional skill and tactical thinking during combat or some other crisis which directly contributed. Well, yeah, you did. You set off a chain reaction of EM clouds to decimate a fleet. I definitely say that qualifies.
Let's add that in. So let me just get that. Oh, I've lost it. And then let me just drag that over.
There it is. Yes, nice.
And the second one, it costs 2. The Joint X Commendation Medal for working with the Mapui as the ship.
Yeah. So the benefit, the character worked with during the mission. Once per mission, when attempting a social task involving those guys, you may reduce the difficulty of persuade tasks to a minimum of 1. Alright then, if you ever wanted to talk the Mapui crew into doing something, it'll make it easier.
Can we not expand that to Klingons?
Sure.
What is the organization?
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Okay. And then I have
So
one more left.
essentially change where it says X to be joint, maybe Klingon operations commendation medal. Because X is supposed to be the name of the faction that you worked with in order to get this. So yeah, X being replaced with the Allied force. So yeah, Klingon
And
Defense
then
Force.
I have one more. So if people have leftovers, we can pool it together and buy someone a Legion of Honor. But if not, I would use it for a little bit of favor with the captain of the Mapui. Who is he?
Captain Akul.
Cool.
You already have it, or did you already put that in your notes in anticipation of getting it?
I do. Can I have more?
Can you have more? You can have more if you want extra favor with Captain Akul.
So we'll see though if there's leftover and we want to spend it on a Legion of Honor for any side characters.
It is a good point. Supporting characters can also be given awards if you want to do so.
Well, I have an extra glory or acclaims that I need it as well, so.
So yes, we know of at least one person's character who has some spare acclaim/glory floating around. Dave, did you spend all of your acclaim on that?
No, I only spent 2. So I have another 3 left.
You do have another 3 left.
So I'm not entirely sure. I did see the silver banded shield for wounds sustained in combat. Oh, which she did. But it is again for me to avoid injury. I don't know if I want like 3 of them.
Well, the frequency with which you plug your brain into a ship's system and the way in which it could catastrophically go wrong, you know.
That will still give me 1 left over. So
Sure.
Again,
I mean, I almost picture it like that poor guy who I think, if I remember the story correctly, which I don't think I entirely do, there's supposed to be one guy who works as a park ranger somewhere in North America who is by far the unluckiest person on Earth because he keeps getting struck by lightning.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to take something we haven't actually got yet.
Oh.
Well, I don't think anybody else has got yet, but
Well,
I am going to take the Starfleet citation for
Conspicuous gallantry.
Yes, character must have succeeded at a particularly heroic, risky, or daring action during the mission. Which I did.
When
It was
you
very
pay
risky.
for an immediate momentum spend by adding to threat, you can roll a d20, and if the result is equal to or less than your daring, that threat is immediately removed from the Games Master's pool. Ah. Interesting. So you could start looking at doing some of those things that give me threat, and then see if you can take that threat away from me once you do it. So you're playing a bit fast and loose with the...
I mean, if people want this chaos, if people don't want me to give Matt threat,
I have plenty that gives Matt threat. It's just no one allows me to use it.
Well, you know, you are free to do whatever you want. Always consider the input of other people, including myself, into what your character does as suggestions. In the end, you're the one who has free reign of deciding what your character does.
I have way too much stuff. A lot of Klingon stuff too.
So what do people think?
Yes, because if we could, it's benefits, and if we can take away the threat, it'd be a great laugh for us.
Mark, you're being uncharacteristically quiet.
I was just reading what I was going to do, but then I think I'm just going to get reputation. That's why. But if Dave wants to cause chaos, let him cause chaos. It's his point.
Here.
Okay, then. There you go.
Okay,
You've been given permission.
Chaos right.
Fantastic. All right. Actually, do I have enough for that? Oh yes, it is 2. So I have 1 spare. If
So that's another one spare. Okay.
And I'll spend 5 to get 5 reputation, and there's 1 spare again.
So that's enough to get somebody a Legion of Honor, as was noted. If you want to gift a supporting character a Legion of Honor, or if you fancy giving Connie permission to get that one other thing.
how much is the other thing for you, Connie?
It's just favor with a cool, but the other thing would be Legion of Honor for a supporting character.
Which supporting character? Do you have an idea?
Who doesn't have it?
I'd like to point out that Tavish doesn't have a Legion of Honor.
Councillor Sachs does have a Legion of Honor. Dyneth.
Are we gonna?
Dyneth does not have a Legion of Honor.
I feel like Tavish needs one. I mean, we're gonna force
Sure,
one
but
on
Dave
Tavish.
gave it away.
Yeah.
100%. They...
Hold on. Are you forcing a Legion of Honor on me?
Nobody's forcing.
You're welcome.
We're only suggesting. But you know,
right.
chaos gremlin that you are.
If you lot want me to have, it's up to you. You can either give it to NPC, or the next time we get some acclaim, I will get a one Legion of Honor. That is my max, by the way. I am not going above that.
We could always give a order to the bat lift to to our tactical officer,
Which is essentially the same thing, but you know.
Yeah. Let spend it on an NPC. Honestly, get them a Legion of Honor. Yes.
Or the equivalent. Going once. Going twice.
So we're going for Dyneth.
Sounds like.
Has any of the science officers got any Legions of Honor?
Not really, but then their tasks that they tend to perform are usually a bit less catastrophic if they, roll complications.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. Okay. Am I looking at the wrong ones? Might be looking at the wrong ones. Go back a second. I am looking at the wrong one. So essentially they're all the first edition ones. So yes, if you want to give Order of the Bat'leth to Dyneth, this is interesting actually, because if Dyneth, who had been stripped of her honour by accepting discommendation due to her refusal to create weapons against the Federation during the Klingon Federation War, does this mean that she has now been forgiven and recommendated?
I would have thought she would have got the the Starfleet one, and not the Klingon one, because of her story.
What do you guys think?
I would have thought, but then, because we talked to Garon at the end, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I noticed some ships had gone, right? So maybe he would re-recognize Dyneth."
Yeah.
For her contribution.
Would Dyneth want that though?
What Klingon
That's
wouldn't
the
want to be
question.
recognised back?
That's true.
Because, you know, it's not just her that suffered it, it was her entire family as a result of her dishonour, so...
Yeah, so it makes sense that she would accept it.
That she
even
has
though
been
she's
forgiven?
still on the...
Okay.
I feel like it would make sense.
Yeah, you know, you've made good points have been made. As long as everybody agrees to that. I don't hear any complaints, so I'm going to go with yes. Alright then, which means Dyneth gets her reputation track back. Cool. And she's got Order of the Bat'leth. So she's going to be a happy Klingon lady from here on in. Awesome. Anything else anybody else wants to do with their acclaim and chisel before we move on?
I think I'm okay for the time being, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Let me get rid of that there. Let me close that down. Righty-ho. So, this is where we're at. You guys performed a spectacular convoy defense to the point where you saw off an entire freaking armada of enemy ships. Right to the point where you disabled the biggest ship in the Klingon fleet. I've forgotten the name of it now. Navar-class battleship. Which is the biggest class of battleship that the Klingons do. And towed it back to Narendra Station as a trophy. So this is essentially you guys and most of the engineering core of Narendra Station, Klingon and Starfleet alike, pulling it apart for parts in order to make your own ship. A brand new prototype experimental ship that I would wonder, if not in fact hope, that a certain amount of consideration for it being an expression of Klingon Federation collaboration. But before we get stuck into that, let's get stuck into that. Let me unpause the game. So this is essentially our shipyard. And right now we have a ship with a blank canvas. The first thing we need to do if we are creating a brand new ship is that we need to assign points, system points. So if you recall, if we open up the blank character sheet, the systems are communications, computers, engines, sensor structure, and weapons. We get so many points to allocate to each of those systems to represent the strengths and weaknesses of this new design of ship. Now, according to what the Utopia Planetia Shipyard Sourcebook gives us on page 58, ships made after a certain point in time, the 2200s, usually begin play with around 40 system points. We then... You can't open it? Ooh, that's my fault, that's my bad, that's permissions.
Yeah, same here.
Boink, try now.
Yep.
Yep.
Smashing. So, 40 system points if it was launched in the 2200s or thereafter, but we gain an additional system point for every decade after this point. The current year in our campaign is 2373. So that earns us an additional 17? Because it's after a certain point. Are my maths wrong? My maths are wrong. No, it's 2317. I'm not wrong. Because essentially 17 decades. Yes, 17 decades or so after initial. So our initial system points are 57 to spend on how much to allocate to communications, computers, engine, sensors, structure, and weapons. But there's more. We now have to consider the scale of the ship. If it is going to be a scale smaller than 4, which for comparison, the Combs as an Intrepid class is scale 4. So that's the baseline. That's the baseline size. If you want a smaller ship, we take some numbers away from the number of system points. If your ship is going to be bigger, we add some. So what are we looking at here, folks?
Bigger.
Bigger.
Bigger? How much bigger? Because you're
Class
currently
6.
Intrepid. We can't go past 6. 6 is as high as it goes.
Yeah, I said class 6.
Class 6. Right, sorry. I thought you said past 6.
No.
Jeez.
Yeah, let's go.
I want an 8. Man, I want an 8.
We already have the Doka batch, which is size 5. Why not make another ship that's a size 6? We just went from 4, 5, 6.
So we're talking Galaxy class scale of Galaxy class. What is the name of the Enterprise E?
Sovereign.
Sovereign, thank you. I kept thinking Imperator, but that's my brain wandering into into Warhammer 40k. Sovereign class, thank you very much. So yes, Galaxy Sovereign class, those whacking great big heavy cruisers, scale 6. Are we going scale 6 here, folks?
Bigger is more bigger.
I reckon so.
Then 6 you shall have. My god. Okay, which means we change the size. Oh, hang on a second. That's a good point. This isn't recognizing its parent. Let me link them both. Right, so let's change the scale again to be 6. Let's see what happens. So we want the appearance of this thing to be 6 by 6. So I'm just going to briefly take this away, bring back the new one, and it's even bigger. My god. So, no problem. With a scale 6 ship, you get 2 more system points to spend. So, jeebus. 59. So, essentially, all of your departments pardon me, systems, not departments, start at 0. And you now have 59 points to distribute amongst them. So, how do you see this magnificent beast that you are creating? What are its main strengths going to be?
It's going to be definitely points in structure and weapons, I feel.
The war is also over, so I'm all on the science stuff.
Well,
the war is over? No, it's not.
Well, the Klingon human war is in the immediate thing.
Yes,
so, we're a science vessel. That's
it's going to be
in there as well.
optimistic for now, and then we're going to pay for it afterwards.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, who is going to be the one to actually be inputting the numbers? Who wants to input the numbers?
59, right here.
Would you rather me input the numbers? It's up to you.
Okay, so it's 59 across what? Where can we
6.
spend it? Across it?
Maybe we should rank the systems first and see
Sure.
what we decide is most.
I mean, you could
important for
use
us.
the breach input boxes to maybe give, like a rank out of 6, where you think points should go into. I mean, it'll flag it red because of breaches, but you could just use it as a means of trying to distinguish which ship systems are going to be more prevalent over others. Preferences, after all.
You could go all 10s, 9 in comms. Would be mine. Because that way, only comms would be lower than 50% average for rolls. And it's almost the perfect layout where it's all 10s.
But that's Mark's requirement for symmetry going in there, so Dave, you were going to say?
I have a crazy idea.
Colour me
59
shocked.
in engines.
Well, let me remind you that no ship system can go above 12.
Oh.
12
we
is
can
the
do
maximum.
No, I like Mark's idea, by the way.
The 3 priorities were weapons, structure, and then science, but science would be computers?
And that's a department. So, so computers, sensors is another valuable science asset, so let's not forget that.
I mean,
So you could do 12 weapons, 10 structure.
Speak your mind, Connie.
So similar to Mark, rather than, distributing 10, 10, 10, 10, and then 1, 9, what we can do is find I can't remember mass turns anymore, but the most whole number division we can get is 9 each, and then we'll have 5 points left over to play with.
Sure.
If that makes sense. And then
What
we
do you
can
guys think?
allocate more.
Yeah,
to a
and
given
you
one.
can still juggle it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Don't want to have any
9
major
all
weaknesses.
start.
I'm
Dave.
gonna have a look at the. I'm gonna have a look at the combs actually.
Okay, yeah. Basis of comparison, always good.
Is our system something we can also bump up if we got medium or major?
Yep.
Oh. Okay.
Does what we've put onto the combs, like the majors, the major stuff,
The stuff that you
on the
actually
combs-
spent.
on the combs, go over to this new ship?
Yeah, you did ask me that, and I seesawed between the two, because you are building a brand new ship with very few restrictions,
Okay.
barring obvious ones, how you can do it. But at the same time, you did go through the trouble of spending that big resource, which you don't get that often. So I'm I'm undecided at this present point in time. Maybe it's best to wait until we see what we have when we finish.
Okay, that sounds.
And see if it needs any further improvement by unbolting some of the stuff that was given to the Combs and slapping it on this gigantinormous vessel.
So, the Combs has 10 in communications, 11 in computers, 11 in engines, 10 in sensors, 8 in structure, and 9 in weapons.
So it was obviously a lot more of a science vessel than it was a weapons platform. Not that that made any difference ultimately. So.
I would argue computers and sensors we don't need extra points in, because we're good at computers and sensors anyway. Our weapons are a problem, and no harm in getting extra engines for more movement or getting away or being quicker. I think I definitely still lean towards higher on weapons and structure, just to tank it.
Matt, can I ask a question?
Of course.
What is communications used for?
Pretty much
I
what
know
it suggests.
Okay.
So, the amount of actions you can take on the communications department are usually trying to get over somebody else's jamming of your comms, or indeed you doing the jamming of the comms. Usually communications officers are also the guys who try and decrypt encryptions and stuff, because that's what they're trained to do. But more than that, yes, in a fight, very few times has a communication system been more effective than using sensors to detect weaknesses. So,
can I then suggest to the group that we put communications at 8, like we had for the structure for the USS Combs?
So make it its weak. Make communications its weakest system.
Its weakest, yeah. Because even with like the encrypting stuff, there I can't remember our communications officer. Is it
Ravalon?
Ravalon? Yeah, Ravalon. Even with Ravalon, you know, we can back Ravalon up with a Tavish. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
So, especially with like the encryption stuff.
You know, this is actually an interesting consideration, a point of consideration you're bringing up here, which is you are styling this ship to the strengths of a specific crew, which makes a degree of sense because they're the ones who caught the damn thing in the first place, and they're the ones who were saying, "Oh, this is our project, thank you." So, you know, it makes sense. But this is also a prototype ship that, if it succeeds, is going to be one that can end up being mass-produced over a certain amount of time. So, interesting.
So what do people think then to communications being at 8?
Yeah, because we can use Tavish for encryption beating.
Well, yeah. Well, with Ravalon and Tavish, you know, that's a kind of really good strength right there.
Comms dump stat. Okay.
So originally you said it was going to be put 9 in all systems, in all systems to average it out and then start applying more.
Yeah.
So you're actually putting 9 in all of them except communications, who's going to start at 8.
Yeah. So we'll have. Is it 6 now to play with, Connie? If you did the maths.
Yeah.
All right then, Connie, put in those numbers.
Alright. Oh, wow.
That's fine.
Can I use the tab? Oh, yes, I can.
Yes, you can use tab.
It's almost more work.
So that's what we've got as our baseline then. So we're trying to keep it even in most departments, but we are letting communications slip down. Okay, we've got 6 to play with. What are folks feeling?
Add at least 2 to weapons, maybe.
I'm
Two
okay
to
with that. If you want
weapons.
to, yeah, 2 to weapons.
Yeah.
And then afterwards we can be like, maybe.
Can I give a suggestion with our structure? See, you know what we had on? We had talents. We had a ablative armor.
Yes.
And stuff.
Yep.
Can we get talents like that again for this ship?
Well, this is why you're building a brand new ship. You determine what ship talents this space frame comes with. So you are essentially creating a bespoke prototype ship model.
So I would suggest keeping structure at 9. Then we've still got 4 to spend on computers, engines, and sensors. I feel.
Go on, Liz.
Our ship scale is 6, which that means our resistance right now is 6. If we add a blade of armor,
Resistance will not be 6. Not for second edition. It will start at half your scale, and then depending on how much you put
that's
into
better
structure.
than what we had.
Oh, okay, all right.
Still make it higher than 5, though. Our resistance is still going to be higher than 5 if we had a blade of armor and everything else we added to the other.
So yes, ablative armor will boost any ship's resistance by 2. There's also improved hull as a talent that a ship can have, which can boost the resistance even more if you wanted to go that route.
Oh yeah, we had an adaptive shield modular, which also added a resistance, so we could easily make our resistance to 6, make it harder for us to get hit.
Or indeed take damage. So
Yeah.
Essentially what I will say is, when the way the second edition works now is that with weapons and structure, the more points you put in, the more potential bonus points you have to. If it's structure, you get more resistance. If it's weapons, you get more damage that gets added to its weapons arrays. So at the moment, with 9 and 11 in those two, you would be looking at a resistance of 3. Let me think. 7, 8, 9. You're looking at resistance of 5 and a +3 to weapons damage with what we've currently got.
Can I ask, is that better than the Combs?
That's
If
without.
you took
Yep.
Yeah.
without any of the talents.
Yeah. That's better than the Combs.
Look, yeah, significantly.
But you've still got how many points left? Was it 4?
If we don't spend, if we
4.
don't spend any in structure, we've got 4 to computers, engines, and sensors.
If you want to, line those up together. But is that what we're going for with this idea of a ship?
I was gonna say this. Say a suggestion that we put 1 in computers, 1 in engines, and put 2 in sensors. Still have that kind of sciencey feel we had with the initial Combs.
What do other people think?
Yeah, I'm down with that.
So, I'm just curious, eventually we will get the hub spore drive, right? What does that mean for our engines? Is it as necessary by then? Or does it come together?
Good question.
Ooh.
Because used to be, when in first edition you keep track of exactly how many points of power you have available, but now they've replaced it with reserve power, so engines has less to do with how much power your ship has available to it to use. Statistically, anyhow. So... If I look back through this a second. These are major actions of folks. Where are we? Right. Space frames. So later on I go back to 302. What are we looking at? We're looking at what engines contributes. If indeed it contributes anything at all. So a character will use engines to maneuver the ship, increase the ship's power output, trying to protect a particle stream, attempt to pursue a vessel that is moving significantly faster. Which suggests to me we're looking at what the ship helps with when it uses engines. So, when does it need you to roll engines? Tactical doesn't use engines at all, that makes sense. Operations uses... Oh, sensors, pardon me. Sensors uses science almost exclusively. Yep. Operations use engineering when the ship is assisting with regenerating shields. And doesn't seem to appear again. Except for maybe damage control when you're using the communications officer. Other than that, yeah, that seems to be the only real place that the engineering rating of your ship is used.
Okay.
What? So do we want to keep engines at 9 then, and then put an extra one in structure?
I'd prefer that, because structure's the thing that we usually worry about with breaches.
That also takes. Yeah, that usually gets more breaches than anything.
I mean,
For us.
I'm happy to put engines down at 8, and then put an extra one in probably.
We do have a Tavish, so yeah, that makes sense.
Putting that extra one in. I don't know. I wouldn't say weapons or structure, and if we say we're putting 2 into sensors, which would be 11, it will probably be computers. Putting 2 into computers, but I don't know what we use computers for. What?
Well, I can tell you sickbay would be very much coming in and saying, hello, we use that. What do you think a biobed does?
No one gets
one
it.
thing we don't use much.
So how does this sound? 8 in communication, 11 in computers, 8 in engines, 11 in sensors, 10 in structure, 11 in weapons.
Sure.
Mark?
Yeah, let's go
Connie.
for that. More weapons, more structures.
And Chris?
Just got back, sorry. What's I just caught my name.
So my suggestion is 8 in communications, 11 in computers, 8 in engines, 11 in sensors, 10 in structure, and 11 in weapons.
Yeah, okay. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Connie?
Again, it.
Commence those numbers.
8, 11, 8, 9, or is it
11.
10?
11.
11, 10. Yeah, right.
Alright.
Add them up again.
So we have now
20,
we have
30,
more 11.
40, 42, 43. Yeah, that looks about right. There we are. That's all your systems points spent. So we're looking at something that is equal parts computing power, sensor power, and weapons output. Interesting. So the way we now calculate resistance on default on 2nd edition is it's half your scale plus extras from structure, so it's 5, 6, 0, 7, 8 it's 1, 9, 10 it's 2, so we get 2 extra bits of structure to give us a resistance of 5 currently. And a weapons damage output of the same, an extra 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, actually, pardon me. Weapons output will now add 3. Alright. Alright. Are we happy with that?
Mm-hmm.
We can always revisit it if we're not, but there we are. 59 systems points spent. So, let's have a look at department points. Because these are somewhat smaller because the numbers are less big. So, page 60 of the Utopia Planetia Starfleet Sourcebook says that you have department points that represent the division of labour and specialty systems installed in a vessel. Now, the numbers are going to be a lot smaller here, primarily because a ship's a ship's department rating will usually have to do with what role you give a ship. So the idea is, like, if you have a sovereign class, but a sovereign class can be either a system emergency response vessel, and therefore have more emphasis on, like, con and maybe medicine, to be like some kind of emergency response vessel, or it can be a battle cruiser, in which case it will have more emphasis on, obviously, security, maybe a little bit of command as well, or it will be a general all-rounder where it will just have 2 added to every department. So the number of overall department points for just the basic skeleton of this ship, this prototype vessel class that you are creating, is going to be rather low, because it will give then those who maybe choose this ship skeleton later on the ability to bolt other different ship roles onto the same overall skeleton. So we are looking at, you have 3 department points to allocate across the 6 departments, unless this space frame is capable of using a mission pod. Mission pods are usually used on the ship classes like the Nebula class. Kind of like runabouts, because runabouts have like the mission pod that you can attach to them, which alters them depending on what you want them to do. So with the runabout example, you could have a weapons pod attached to it, so that when it goes to battle it's got a bit more bang for its buck. But then that very same runabout could have its weapons pod taken off and then have a passenger pod put on, so it's got more space for people to be transported. And equally, that passenger pod could be taken off and then another one for a specific rescue mission pod could be bolted on the back, so that you've got extra medical facilities and supplies and such like. So do you see this new class of ship being one of those that has mission pod capabilities? Or do you just want it to be a thing on its own?
A thing on its own, I think.
Everyone else?
Same.
Same here.
That's 3. There's Dave.
Yeah.
So you're not first on the pod idea? Okay.
No. I agree with Mark and Chris and Connie.
Okay. So, the way these department points can work is you can obviously spread those 3 points across individual ones, or you can usually emphasize that it has a strong inclination towards a certain department, like say security, by giving it 2 and then giving 1 to show that it has a secondary consideration for something like maybe command or con for maneuverability, or engineering, you know, anything like that. And of course, if you're aiming more towards the science, you might have maybe a 2 in science and a 1 in security, or the other way around, depending on what you wanted to do. So, how do you think you would like to spread these points? Again,
at least 1 in security, I think.
At least 1 in security? Yeah, that makes sense.
Wait, so department points, we only have 3?
Yeah, because like I said, this isn't the finished ship. This is just the skeleton. The finished ship takes this, what's called the space frame, just the overall frame of it, and then you will afterwards bolt on what mission profile you want for it. Like the Combs is a multi-role explorer. Therefore, its department allocation is that of a multi-role explorer, and whatever the extra little points it has from it being an intrepid will boost those numbers even more.
Would it help for us, I'm talking to members of the crew now, to know what kind of potential roles there are?
Sure.
Just in case we're not accidentally boosting something afterwards. Yeah.
Okay, so let me go to. Do you guys have access to the 2nd edition rulebook? You should do, because I did link it in my. Yep, there it is.
Yes.
I think. Well, I gave you the Starfleet alternate reputation thing. If you need me to provide the link again, I will provide the link again.
Might be looking at the wrong thing.
Can you send me the link again?
I will find the link again. Okay, no problem. Drop books. Dropbox. Star Trek Adventures. Go away, please. 2nd edition. Where is it? Game Toolkit reference, technical manuals. 2nd edition core rulebook, there it is. Where's the link? Copy link. Quickly before other people see your email addresses. Let me pin that. So, once you grab that, the page you are looking for is page 212 for a list of the different mission profiles you can give our ship. Which is a lot more than 1st edition had. But that's what the Utopia Planetia Sourcebook was for in 1st edition, was to give you more of that kind of thing.
It's page 216 on the...
Yes, if you're using the actual PDF reader page count, then yes, it's 216. Or thereabouts. At least I am using PDF Exchange Viewer, which is a free open source, I think, PDF viewer, rather than having to pay a license for Adobe Acrobat Reader. Pardon me.
I'm just going to go to contents because I'm looking at character stats. Starship.
So yes, Your Home Among the Stars, Chapter 5. Mission profiles and other enhancements section. Should be page 216. Gives you a list of different mission profiles.
And the Combs was a multi-role explorer, did you say?
Yes.
Ah, that's nice. It's all twos.
Exactly.
Yeah. I
And
almost
obviously-
quite.
Go on.
Oh, sorry, go on.
No, what?
Just to say, I almost quite like that. But yeah, I mean, I guess it also depends. What do we think is most important in terms of departments? What do we want to prioritize in general?
I
Or
mean,
we
we
want to
really
base-
don't use medicine all that much.
Dr. Sott would disagree with
Dr.
you there.
Sott.
Hold your horses now. Hang on.
When it comes to using
We are gonna
shit
be-
as
if we are,
assistants,
you
I
know-
don't think there's been much medicine used on selecting the departments of this
You
shit.
know,
That's just-
if we are pimping out this ship for war, then we're going to need to, have medicine ready as well.
I mean, Connie makes a good point. If you want to choose multi-role explorer as a good example of one that gives, twos across the board, you can then see which way this space frame leans more towards by seeing which scores it bumps up. Obviously, in the role of the Intrepid, it bumped more towards science and con, and so it gave that a bump. So if I can find the Intrepid. Yeah. So the Intrepid came with +1 to con, +1 to engineering, +1 to science. So that's how they spread the numbers. So that
And
shows
then-
you what kind of consideration that space frame has. Go on, Connie.
And then, just if we wanted to consider the talents as well.
Yes, there are talents that come with the space frame itself. As you can think of those as the systems that every ship, no matter what role it has, will have these additions because it comes with this space frame. Whereas the role gives you a number of talents to choose from in order to bulk out and customize your ship according to what role you have it perform.
We also get a free systems point based on what we get.
Yeah,
Yes, each role comes with, sometimes comes with, but usually does, yes, comes with a system boost. Correct.
So we can amend if we please.
I was looking at the battle cruiser role because I mean, for talents, it does come with a blade of armor automatically,
Sure.
or
But-
you can choose a blade of armor.
Yeah, so you can make the decision whether or not you think this new prototype class of ship you're coming up with will have ablative armor as standard, as default. Or if you leave that off so that it's a big ship, but not necessarily always geared for warfare. This is the decision you make. This is the customizability of this frame of ship that you are creating.
I was
this
almost
genus.
looking to see if there's a single roll that lowered the the command to 1. So I'm like, yeah, I'm good at command. I'll be fine. But no, that's the only one that stays at 2, if not higher. Oh, wait.
Patrol does.
Patrol's the only one, but it also lowers the engines to 1. We use engines or engineering a little too much.
It's
I
a
think, to be honest,
consideration.
I think I'm happy with the multi-role explorer, and then we can increase any one system by 1. We're not stuck with, oh, we have to increase just this one. I mean, but then also again, we can also play around with the numbers.
Yes, you can. Which brings me back to the actual space frame itself. Where do you think it will give boosts as a default? Because, you've got the Constitution class, which gave a boost to command, to security, to science. But then you had the Excelsior class, which gave a boost of 1 to command and a boost of 2 to engineering. You know, the Ambassador class has 1 in command, 1 in con, 1 in science. So, you know, all California class or Ambassador classes or whatever classes have a nudge. So are you considering this class, this new prototype class of ship, to have more to do with security, but also with science? Would it have a boost to engineering as well, possibly? Or would you give it more con for maneuverability? I mean, or medicine, so that it's got good medicine facilities? How do you guys see it going if you were to give it a rating of 1 or 2?
I mean, I was looking at like what the sovereign bonuses would have been and versus what we had as the Intrepid. I kind of like the way the Intrepid had it, which was +1 to engineering, science, and con.
I'm all
We use
leaning
those
the California because it's engineering,
use that
medicine,
one.
science, but missing on the security. But we can add an extra point.
Can add 3 points.
I mean,
Sorry,
instead,
Sorry
we do it-
about this, but can I ask what's going on there to step away for like a couple of minutes?
We're considering where to give the boosts to, which departments. Those 3
Okay.
points.
okay, you said what was it? The California added engineering, medicine, and science.
Correct. So, Dave, we are looking in the 2nd edition core rulebook at the different space frames. So, like page 204 for the Ambassador and the California class.
But I mean, the thing is, like, I really don't remember us ever using the Department of Medicine. But we've used con, engineering, security, and science the most.
In a fight, yeah, sure. In space battles,
Okay,
yeah, sure.
How would the ship
Yeah.
use its medicine? Because similar to Liz, I don't know how we would do it. Unless it's...
That's the main reason why I'm like, I don't want to up medicine that much, because I don't remember us ever using it even in a normal non-combat mission. Like, I remember us, when we're scanning shit, you're always using like science or engineering.
It's a point. That's not to say you would never use the medicine rating of a ship, but you have come across less instances of it due to whatever reasons.
Yeah.
It's not like a medicine would send a healing beam over a planet, would it?
No.
No, but I'm going to give an argument for medicine here, which would be the fact that I cannot remember what the
Okay.
the Klingon ship was. Tavish was on.
Yeah, the Mapui.
If it wasn't for if it wasn't for a good roll, the Mapui's medicine was quite far down.
Yeah, but we have a
And
Dr. Sott.
Well, yeah, you may have a. Look, I am not disparaging or trying to slander Dr. Sott. Capable skills. I'm just saying, I wouldn't kind of put away medicine, depending on, what we get up to.
And that's
medicine
fine.
could be.
I do have a question, though.
Sure.
So for crisis and emergency response, could we swap, instead of putting 2 points into command, put the 2 points in engineering and just move and make the command 1? Because medicine and everything else is pretty much 2, but science is 3 points. And we kind of use a little bit of science thanks to Connie when we're scanning. For the ship.
Well, the role that you choose for the ship is what informs where the ratings go, and then it adds whatever the space frames into inclinations are as bonuses. So this is what we're still trying to sort, is where do your ship, this prototype ship's space frame inclinations go towards? Would it be all of the sciences, like a California class, which is why it adds to engineering and medicine and science, because it's more of the California class is more of an all-round science exploration ship, but this, if you wanted to make it more of a space explorer type of frame, would you put more in, some in security, but also some in engineering and some in con for its maneuverability? Would you put more in science because you value more of the science area of it? This is still what we're trying to decide. Irrespective of what mission profile it is given, this prototype space frame inclines with 3 points in our direction or directions by allocating 3 points to departments.
I would recommend not upping medicine higher than at least 2 points. Because it's now one of the ones we
view the overall mission profile of this ship to have a heavy influence with medicine.
Not really. That in
So
command,
you could probably leave
mostly.
that 0 then.
I for the most part, I envision engineering and science, maybe a little bit of security and con, because that's the ones we use the most out of all the missions we've ran.
So, just a picture that you have now successfully tested out this new class of ship, and you've called it maybe the Combs A, but it is now a successfully tested ship, and they're ready to put this into mass production. But not only do they have the multi-role explorer versions of it, they have the battle cruiser variations of it, they have the emergency response variations of it. No matter what mission profile somebody else gives it, the overall frame will give it an inclination towards certain paths. What would those paths be? Irrespective of what you're going to make it do down the line, if other people adopt this space frame, what would they get for their money, as it were? Because if you get an Intrepid, you will always get a boost to con, engines, science. If you got this one, you would get... Go, Connie.
And just saying there's a little bit about the departments on PDF page 187.
Yes.
People are so inclined. Just a sentence or two of what each department really means.
Yeah. Absolutely doodly. And if you need to consult that in order to have a help, then do. Absolutely do.
Okay, so are we going to take the shape that's the most all-rounder and then just dump the stats where we want them?
I'd say all-rounder.
Well, that's the mission profile. We're kind of also trying to figure out what the frame would look like. I'm kind of leaning to either like the sovereign, almost like the sovereign frame, because it gives command, security, and science.
But because we're creating a brand new ship, we can
go for anything.
You can, yeah.
Right.
So what are your inclinations?
Yeah.
Oh, my inclinations is engineering, security, and science.
Yeah.
Those are like the main three we use for
Engineering,
our
security, science. Yeah.
For our framework.
Yeah. I'm happy with that then, because we do have points to spread as well.
Yeah.
Dave,
Yeah. So
engineering,
that's what the
security,
frame would
science.
Yeah.
Chris?
Yep.
So you guys feel that it would be equal parts engine power, combat power, and science, but no heavy emphasis on any of those, giving you a broad spectrum boost.
Yeah, 'cause,
All right.
we're still the Federation. We still have science. We still got to do science and explore.
But you also have some earth-shattering kaboom possibilities with this space frame. And that's what we're getting at. Okay. Groovy. So irrespective of what mission profile they choose, they will get a boost to engineering, a boost to security, and a boost to science. Even if they chose like multi-role explorer or the medicine ship would get those boosts. Right. Awesome. That's that done. So, we have done systems, we have done departments. Now we do weapons systems. These are going to be the basic weapon systems equipped to this class of ship, no matter what role it takes. What would those be?
The biggest.
Well, remember you have a list of Starship weapons in the items directory. 2nd edition, Starship weapons, big old list.
Weren't we Frankensteining? Yeah. I was going to say, weren't we Frankensteizing the phased polaron beam cannon, or did we want the big disruptor cannon?
Well,
which was on the ship before.
Are you going to have the phased polaron beam cannon, or spinal lance? Pardon me, the phased polaron beam spinal lance as it comes with this ship as a default, or is that something that you think somebody else bolts on if they wanted extra firepower?
I think that's something that would be bolting on, because it's a cumbersome weapon. And it's only one damage higher than, say, the beam cannon or the disruptor cannon.
So,
I think the disruptor cannon is not modest. It's still a beast. And comes with piercing. No, it doesn't. It's
I do
phased.
Comes with intense, the disruptor cannon.
I mean, yeah, the disruptor cannon does have intense, yeah, which, I mean, it's the same as the polar ion beam, but the polar ion beam has pierce as well. But yeah, I think the disruptor cannons would be that, and like, what else?
Or we could take the graviton cannon, which has devastating and piercing.
Okay, graviton cannon's my vote.
Test the repair breaches caused by this weapon. Increased power. Yes.
I do think I just heard Mark give a little bit of wee in his trousers when he heard that. Yes. I'm sorry.
That's a good. Yep. We'll go for that one.
It's a good thing I saw that one. I know.
Graviton. It comes with graviton cannon as standard, does it?
Yes.
Yeah, think of this like the frame of a car. You want it to come with a graviton cannon as standard. Going once. Going twice. Okay.
Well, can we... Alright, actually, can we put... Oh, okay.
Well, no. Nothing's final. Nothing's final. What were you going to say?
Okay. I was actually going to say, can we put it... Can we have... What weapons can we have? How many weapons can we have on this ship?
Now, there's no... to say limit, but if you do go stupid with it and just pile on 6 different kinds of weapons, I will point out that each different weapon system requires a different way of managing it, because you are trying to create different types of energy projection. So if you are going to create what Dave has said, the parlance from like Star Trek Online, where you tag a different energy weapon type onto your ship so that you're firing rainbow beams because they're all different colors, the engineering nightmare that you are creating for your poor engineering department there is going to be redonkulous. So the more weapon systems you bolt on as standard, is going to create interesting times for the poor engineering crews that are going to have to manage it. So just bear that in mind. And also, that there are starship talents like expanded munitions that will give you the ability to bolt on extra weapon systems to a ship. Should folks choose to give that
weapons should be fine. At least standard.
So I'm not saying no, don't have the graviton cannon. I'm just saying don't take the graviton cannon and the EM ionic cannon and the phaser array and the disruptor cannon.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh, that would. They're gonna be like, wait, the ship has engines, science, and security, but it has a shit ton of weapons.
I can see Phlesc going, these are the weapons I'm thinking about putting on Tavish. Do you think you could sort this out engineering? They're all just these beam cannons, and she's like, no, we're not doing it.
I picture more she just stands there looking at him in silence, extends her hand slowly, and then slaps him.
What do we think about electromagnetic versus graviton?
That's a good question.
I did see that it's the EM one, isn't it?
Yeah, it
has
will
dampening and piercing.
Dampening drains the target's reserve power, and if they have reserve power available, it loses reserve power.
And then it still has the piercing.
Yeah.
Whereas, which one was the one I said? The
graviton cannon.
That's devastating.
Task to repair breaches caused by this. Actually, I like the EM one better. Actually, out of both of those, because they both have 2 damage, but the dampening taking away. Taking away reserve power is a lot better.
They're gonna have to spin. Somebody's gonna have to take a turn from their side to replenish their reserve power to up their shields.
Quite.
Which means
One
that's
question.
like 2 turns.
Go, Connie.
One question about that. So, for us in the Shackleton Expanse, we encounter a lot of electromagnetic fields.
You do.
If we did go through something like this, would this amplify our attack, or would it get in the way?
I would say that you would still end up having to be creative with your use of creating traits, but it would give you that option either way. So I wouldn't say there would be any definitive benefit or drawback from using this weapon in the Shackleton Expanse. It's, as per usual, what you do with it. So, I think what it sounds like you're getting at is, if we go into the Shackleton Expanse and we fire our EM spinal lance, is that going to cause, a massive EM pulse to explode across far reaches of space as we know it, because we've just added more fuel to the fire? I don't think so, unless that's what you were actually aiming to do.
Okay, that's fine. Maybe we can create a trait for that. But yeah, I think it's good if we take away someone's reserve power, then presumably they can't get their shields up as easily, right?
Which Liz just pointed out quite correctly. So.
It'll be like 2 turns that they have to take before their shields come up if they pass reserve power
the
up.
tests. Which, if my rules last time were anything to go by, is doubtful. Go on.
So then, if we are in another electromagnetic field or somewhere with gravitational waves, they're extra screwed just by the environment as well.
So, all right, I've got a crazy idea because I've just been looking through some of the weapons. Okay, I definitely want the EM cannon on the ship. I think that's a fantastic idea. I'm thinking of. I think having, instead of having a what do we have on the Combs? I can't remember.
Phaser array.
Actually having instead of having a phaser array, having a phaser banks.
Mark and Chris, you have been quiet up until this point. What do you think?
I like phaser banks to go with the big shooty gun.
It is a good consideration because the EM cannon, as good as it is short range. And phaser banks would be medium range, and you'd have torpedoes for long range. Chris, what opinions do you have on what should be brought as standard as weaponry?
Genuinely, in terms of the weapons, not much. You know, fairly just. I'm happy with the idea of having like the one short, the one medium, the one long. But I really don't have any strong thoughts on the weapons at all.
Get to heal.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean the only thing that's definitely would be the MP. That's then I really care about.
I mean,
But
it's
as
an
a
interesting.
rest of them, I really don't care.
It's an interesting mix you're putting together here, I will say, because the idea of creating a ship that is supposed to be, in my mind at least, a vision of further collaboration between the Federation and the Klingon Empire, you would normally think, well, maybe it would have like a disruptor cannon for short range, but phaser array for medium range, so that it's showing the best of both polities. But in this regard, by making it phaser banks, so that they're only so many phaser emitters, and then making it an EM cannon, is an interesting way of bridging those two polities in an entirely different way, insofar as you are loading this thing with a pretty hefty weapon. But at the same time, it's essentially a stun weapon. It's a weapon designed to disable rather than destroy. And then you've got the phaser banks to do whatever you need them to do, because phasers are so very versatile. So, interesting. But, keep looking, keep deciding if there are others that grab your fancy.
For the long range, I've got 2 Pacific torpedoes. If this is to the crew. To have a look at quantum torpedoes, because who doesn't want quantum torpedoes? Though you do have to calibrate them,
yes,
which is a minor action before you shoot them. Which is,
I was about to say, luckily that's a minor.
Yeah. They are high yield and intense as well, and they have a 5+ weapon rating for torpedo damage. But the other one, going with like the EM kind of feel to this, was, where is it? I can't remember where it is now.
Is it the neurotonic torpedo?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah, where it's calibration, but it also has dampering.
Yes, it also has
sonic torpedo.
Yes, it's long.
Which
damage is 4+ rating. It has calibration, but it also has dampening as well. So even if we can't get through their shields, all right. Say the worst.
Their power off.
We can still knock their power off, which means we put their shields down. Again, it's they're my 2 suggestions.
Yeah, and with it being a minor action, Dyneth could be like, minor action, I'm calibrating, and then a fire. Longest minor action to happen before major.
Boom. So interesting. The overall combat approach of this space frame will always be leaning towards disable rather than destroy, which makes it an interesting kind of border patrol, almost police force level type of vessel. Which, let's face it, Starfleet does.
Yeah. Or having a quantum torpedo, to have that devastating effect. Yeah. Because, I mean, we do have the EM cannon. So, having a long range, and long range means we can still shoot it at short range for a guess, Matt?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. Means we can still, having a quantum torpedo hitting, after we use the EM EM cannon, hit them with that, and then they can't get their shields back up or whatever. We can just hit them with the quantum torpedo and just devastate them if it's something really hostile.
Sure.
But again,
So,
it's what people think or want.
where are folks leaning in that regard?
I'm happy to listen to other arguments.
The name alone is just cool, so that'd be a reason for me to go for it.
There's also the trans-phasic torpedo, which has devastating, calibrating, and piercing as well.
Now, the problem with transphasic...
Oh, no, we're not doing that, no. I put my vote for no. No, we're not doing transphasic. We're not doing anything.
They were developed by the crew of the crew of Voyager, if I remember correctly, for dealing with Borgies. I could be wrong there, so if folks want to correct me on that, feel free to. But that's the
I just like the
impression
fact that it's
recall.
devastating, piercing, and calibrating.
Yeah. So they
That's a
go
torpedo.
kaboom in a big way, absolutely. So if you guys think you guys developed the transphasic torpedo alongside Voyager, who developed it themselves whilst they were in the Delta Quadrant, then fine, go for it. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying that might be a consideration. But again, this is you guys creating your experimental prototype space frame. So you might want to put experimental weaponry on it.
Oh yeah.
Alright, so which torpedo, people?
I like the. So which one were we saying that? What is the running candidate?
So far, we
Right now.
have got neutronic. Neutronic? Was I right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check that. Neutronic
the neutronic.
torpedoes to dampen. Quantum torpedoes because cool. Or transphasic torpedoes because goddamn.
Because
I was
very
gonna
cool.
add.
All of which, all
Which
three of
one?
them do require calibration, which is a minor
Yes.
action. So we have to remember that it has to
Yeah,
be
you can't aim. with
calibrate
it.
then aim, or you have to calibrate then fire.
So if you miss,
we-
you miss. Go on, sorry, Connie, keep talking over you.
Sorry. Oh, never mind me. I was gonna say, oh, what about the tetronic? But its
Well-
damage rating is only 2, so forget about it.
Forget about it. Not enough kaboom.
Yeah, all the ones we've said so far is like rating 4+, with the
Yeah.
quantum being 5+.
Okay, so tetrionic torpedoes are useful only for knocking down other people's shields, which is unusual for a torpedo, I will say that much. Interesting.
I kind of like that too, though. If it actually does it in the game system, that it actually takes down shields, that's...
Because that's its specialty, is knocking down shields. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we could always have 2 different types of torpedoes too. We don't always have to have
generally,
one.
there's only one torpedo system built into a frame.
Generally.
Yeah, I would say because the problem that Starfleet is having with quantum torpedoes at this period in its history is that they have perfected the design of photon torpedoes to the point where photon torpedoes can actually be built on a ship while it's in transit. So as long as that torpedo manufacture area on the ship isn't damaged in any way, you can create photon torpedoes forever and never run out. But quantum torpedoes are now such a new technology that they can be very volatile and therefore very difficult to mass produce. So anything you put above and any weird and wonky torpedoes you put, especially multiples thereupon, will introduce, again, interesting challenges, let's say, for the engineering crew as well as supply and demand.
Do you
Because
goddamn
goddamn
guys all hate
storage.
me?
Because if you have more than one torpedo type, we are talking there's going to need to be more than one torpedo storage type as well on board the ship.
That's a fair point.
Because Jesus Christ, can you imagine putting quantum torpedoes in the same storage bay as a transphasic torpedo? The sheer ungodly levels of accident that could happen, you'd probably end up folding space around your own ship. But, don't let me stop you. It's a suggestion, not a poo-poo of the idea.
I do not see, even though it is 2+ rating, I do like the tetronic torpedo because of the depleting.
Yeah, it's not meant to damage, it's meant to deplete. But
so it strips away the protective layers of deflector shields,
which can be like a warning shot.
Exactly. Because this, to me, your choice of weapon systems and the choice of which departments get a boost informs me and everyone else of the kind of idea of what you get, what kind of overall role in the fleet this ship is going to have when it gets deployed. So, with all these depleting type of weaponry, this definitely speaks less of a warship and more of a system patrol ship. But, whereas if you put quantum torpedoes on it, then it seems like an all-round rapid response vessel that carries the heavy tonnage with it. And especially if you put transphasic torpedo on there, then my god. Yeah. You have to arm you have to make the inertial dampers have a sudden surge of power to stop the ship being propelled backwards in space from just launching one transphasic torpedo.
But we can also, because they're not cumbersome, we could launch them in a salvo.
Yes. But, what the hell are you doing to space when you detonate these things? Yeah.
So I mean, there is another torpedo I've just seen, which has a 5+ rating to it, which is the gravimetric torpedo.
Wow, why am I not surprised?
It has calibration, it has cumbersome, but it also has high yield and piercing.
Because it is a ridiculously overblown torpedo. Yes. This thing is carrying a... Go on.
We can't do a salvo bullet if it hits.
My god, dear. Yes.
Goodbye, ship.
Well, yeah. Essentially, you are. This is probably using black hole technology. This is either. This is making a gravity explosion in space, which is probably pulling everything into it. So, this is serious technology here.
I mean, if it is at an enemy's hull, if we bring the reserve power down, put the shields down and their hull, they are completely destroyed.
Yeah, you mess guys up with this stuff.
Can I suggest something? I know I'm kind of going back, but I've really just found that I don't know why. I just kind of went over it. I've just found the graviton stuff.
Yeah.
And I've just seen what the graviton banks can do.
Look at the graviton array. The graviton array, devastating area, spread, piercing.
Because you are using gravity beams to disrupt, gravity in space. Actually, there is no gravity in space, but you're creating gravity push-pull in space.
Yeah, what does everybody else? Again, what do people want from this? Do we want to be that kind of space patrol kind of thing, or do we want to be a I wouldn't say
heavy
threat, but
cruiser.
a deterrent.
Yeah,
for-
okay, that's a good word, actually.
So if we do the neurotonic torpedoes mixed with the MP cannon with the graviton bank, it's like, oh, regardless of which range you are, we're taking your shields down. And then you get into medium range and you still are stupid enough to take us on, you're getting pierced by our banks.
Well, I would actually say not banks, but arrays, because the arrays just give us a bit more.
Yeah, it gives us the area where we
With,
can hit more than one.
Yeah, we got the area
damn.
and spread. Yeah.
Jeez. So,
So yeah.
so you deplete things at long range, which forces them to either flee or engage you. And if they engage you, they got to take on whatever you're using for mid-range. And if they make the mistake of closing to short range, then you essentially pound them into oblivion. Do I have that
Yeah.
about right?
Yeah. Very diplomatic.
Well, it's more of a deterrent, isn't it? So you know the photons, the torpedoes are a deterrent, aren't they? They're all right. We've just hit you. You've seen what these torpedoes can do, and if they're like, well, we're still going to come after you, then it's the either the graviton array or graviton banks, and hit them. Again, it's like, oh, all right, we can still take down this ship, and then it's like the EM cannon, which is, not just going to put your shields down again, which
It's also gonna hurt.
which the torpedoes do, but we're also going to hit you hard as hell.
Yeah.
What
It's gonna
about
hurt.
flipping
She'll
that?
forgot.
Because the thing with most cruiser ships of this size is the last thing you want to do is get to within close range of them, because that's usually where their heavy hitter, broadsides go off. So what if you looked to do, rather than graviton array or graviton banks, you had maybe the EM array or the EM banks to start whittling down their shields and their power, and then you saved the really big graviton cannon for close range.
What? Free electron? What is that?
See, now you're just shopping through the entire Argos catalogue of weapons. It's like every time you spot one that you think is good, you just look at I'll just have another look at what these things are. Ooh.
So
What's this do?
So Matt, are you saying, having that, is it no water?
The neutronic torpedo?
Neutronic torpedo as we're bringing your shields down, and then having the EM
array or
the
banks to keep on knocking those shields down.
Down.
Take your energy, take your shields away, and then as soon as you get within close range, the actual hurty weapons are unleashed. So at long range and at medium range, you're essentially working at taking away their power, taking away their shields.
So it's having a look at what beam cannons there are and what they can do. Then.
I mean, Jeebus Cripes, the graviton spinal lance.
Holy what? Okay, yeah, let's do
Well,
that.
actually, that's long range, so never mind.
Oh.
Hmm.
Oh.
So something for close range. I mean, that's not dismissing the graviton cannon by any stretch of the imagination, but whereas the array, medium range, the graviton array does have more that it can do. I will give you that as a medium range thingamajig. So maybe ignore my recommendation. Maybe entirely ignore what I just said.
Yeah, that's because that's what it was the graviton array having area spread, devastating and piercing, and having the EM. Oh no, the. I do get what you're saying, though.
Well,
With,
you know,
like, having
let me
the-
not confuse things too much by reminding folks that anything that has a range of medium can still operate at close range. So yeah.
we could. But I kind of like the EM cannon.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm not saying don't get it. I'm not saying don't get it. But we've now spent how long on trying to choose the weapons, and everyone keeps spotting something they like. So you know, let's try and reach a consensus here. There are indeed so many good things to choose from.
So, how does this sound, guys and girls? Is the EM cannon
For close.
Yeah. The graviton array and
Yep.
the neurotonic torpedo.
The neutron.
I'm happy with that selection.
Because
The
we're
only
so
thing-
hurt. But you're also losing your shield.
Connie.
Should we swap have a graviton cannon and an EM array instead, so that if we can fire at multiple targets? Sorry, is that what you said? I'm not following.
Actually, you know what? No, I said the EM cannon and then the graviton array. But I mean, changing, you know, having the EM array and then having either the graviton cannon or the graviton spinal lance. I would probably go for the graviton spinal lance, seeing as it's. I mean, the graviton spinal lance is cumbersome, so it does increase the difficulty to attack made, but using it by one.
It's not Combs.
Yes, it is.
Oh, the graviton spinal lance. I was looking at the cannon.
lance
Pardon me.
Yes, yeah. But it has an extra +1, and it has devastating and piercing. I can't remember what graviton. Oh, yeah, it has. I mean, it's only 1 extra to the damage, so I'd probably go for the. If you want to, we can swap them over and have the EM array, and then the. You know, if they are really stupid, having the graviton cannon and just going, yeah, okay, time to hit you harder than, time to hit you hard and realise your mistakes for coming so close to our ship.
But then if we're saying, are we wanting the spinal lance purely because of the extra damage?
That's what I was saying. I don't think there's actually any point having the graviton spinal lance and actually just having the graviton cannon, because it's literally 1 extra damage, and we have weapons at 11, so we're already hitting very. We're hitting harder than the Combs ever could.
So, in close range, we have graviton cannon, which is slip scale +2. For medium range, we'll have the array. So the only thing I'm saying, the array. Well, you said array.
The EM array. Yeah.
Yeah. So we can hit multiple targets, which I think will be good.
Yeah, hit multiple targets and also take their reserve power at the same time.
Exactly.
That sounds amazing. Yeah,
That's good.
Of course, there's no +1, but that's fine. And then we'll go which torpedo then?
It was. I mean, we don't. I mean, if we don't want to take the neutronic torpedo, which has the dampening effect, then we can go for something like you suggested, which was the transphasic torpedo.
I think Liz was the one who suggested.
Oh.
Yeah. Or we could always do the quantum I mean, most of the time we fight in medium range anyways.
Look. Actually, I feel this is my suggestion. You can take it or leave it. But seeing as Matt hasn't brought in the Borg yet into this game, I'm really scared.
This is true. This is very true.
So probably having the transphasic torpedoes sounds like Dynef is just, some. She's a
Dynef feels good about coming back to the Klingon Empire, and so she celebrates her success at return by creating prototype transphasic torpedoes. Ooh, now that's interesting.
How does that sound, people?
I like it.
Jeez, right. So just to clarify, graviton cannon as standard, EM array as standard, and transphasic torpedo as standard.
Oh, these are all standard there. So this gets
every
adopted.
ship that gets made using this build of class of ship from here on in, if, and this is a big if in the process of developing and testing out this ship that you don't find some god-awful incompatibility issue, every ship that gets made out of this prototype frame will have these weapons as standard. This is what we're going with, yes?
I feel really sorry for the Borg now.
If not every single polity except for the Federation and the Klingons. If this doesn't make the Romulans go, oh shit. Guys, check it out what they're developing. Oh goddamn! I thought our cloaking devices made us better than everybody else.
Oh, so how does that sound for equipment, guys?
Oh, that sounds great. I feel bad for anyone we come against now.
Mark, Chris, what do you think?
Are we sure it's enough?
That's a fair point.
Well,
for standard equipment, yes.
Okay. I'm gonna put this out here, all right? Because very, very early on in our thingy, I did suggest, and Matt's already said it already, that I did suggest having multiple phasers. Yeah. So, how do you lot feel that if we put a extra weapon on, which is, and I'm just going to put this out there, which is probably going to be phaser banks. So we're not. So if we don't want to, destroy everything inside,
then go for the safe option of the weapon system that we know does not bring the universe crumbling down around our ears. Well,
Yeah.
It all depends on how you want, if you want to play it safe or not.
Yeah. So what do people think about having actually either a phaser array or phaser banks?
I don't know, Dave. These guys seem pretty intent on causing damage.
I know.
The array is cool, though.
It's got a lot going for it.
What?
No,
I mean keeping the EM array and having the phaser array or phaser banks. Keeping all three of those and then having either a phaser array or a phaser bank.
How many weapons can we...
Well, remember what I said about the different energy types and problems arising from it?
Okay, alright, okay. I mean, that was just a suggestion.
Sure.
I'm okay.
But again, think of those... Go on, sorry, Connie.
So just saying, there's a tractor beam, because in the USS Combs it comes in the weapons.
Yes, tractor beam technically counts as a weapon. Yeah, but that, tractor beam comes as standard across everything. So we can deal with that.
Oh my god. Oh my god! I just seen the torpedo underneath.
The tricobalt. Yeah. That's what they call the war crimes torpedo.
So why haven't we got it on this ship?
No, on the Klingon ship, maybe.
Hey, if you want to buy expanded munitions for the Dokabach and to get tricobalt torpedoes, you guys have done very well with courting Gowron's favour so far. So you never know. Daddy Gowron, can we please? We've been such good boys and girls. Can we has a tricobalt torpedo, please? Can we? Yeah. So if you think of it this way. Every weapon system you have needs storage, and if it's an energy weapon, it needs energy production capability. So a phaser array will need phaser array generators. We'll need phaser generators attached to those arrays. So a graviton cannon is going to have a whacking great big part of itself be its gravity generator. Its gravity beam generator. The EM is going to have its own EM generator, array. Transphasic torpedo is going to have to be built to a certain specification and have the ability to store the stuff.
I can see like the crew, the captain, our first officer, and the rest of the crew sitting around having these discussions, and Gerkow going, "This is what we need. This is, and everybody, everybody else literally going, "This is what we need," and Tavish just hitting her head against the table and going, "Do you know how much work this is?"
Yeah. Yes, actually that's a good way of putting it. How much do you want Tavish to suffer?
Actually, don't answer that question.
It's her turn now.
I don't think Tavish should be suffering at all. She'd actually be like, yes, let's do this.
How many hyperspatters can I throw at people?
As many as it takes to get 3 different departments to work together, I suppose.
Okay.
All right. Final decision.
Yes.
Then. Are we going with graviton cannon, EM array, transphasic torpedo?
Yes.
As the standard armament on this class of vessel from here on out?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Any objections? Okay. So, here's the interesting bit. Traits now, because traits is usually something like Starfleet Starship, or Klingon Starship, or Romulan Starship, or stuff like that. This is an interesting one. Because it might be... Well, for one, it's going to have the trait prototype, for the time being. Prototype.
Will it have the trait top of the line like we have for the Combs?
Not yet. Top of the line means it's gone past prototype phase.
Oh, okay. All right.
And will be shipped out. So maybe that's a good point, actually. The trait should maybe be top of the line, because it will be to start with. After it gets past its prototype phase. But what trait do you think we can come up with to give the impression that this was a collaborated creation? Because we're going to need a trait name that can infer positives and negatives. Like, top of the line suggests brand new, really cool technology, but at the same time, maybe not as many people know how to repair it, and it maybe is prone to some interesting clashes with older systems because it is so new, that kind of thing. So a trait should be something that can be used both positively and negatively.
So, yeah, this is me putting it out there. It's a bit of a wild idea. We've got Federation starship on the USS Combs. So having Federation / Klingon starship would probably be worth having it as a trait. The Flingons. A Klingon starship. A Klingon starship.
Did I open myself up for that one? Jeez. I should have seen that coming, but I just was busy talking before I didn't notice that door that I just walked into. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Nope.
So it is. It's a joint venture, isn't it? This ship, is it?
Yeah. Well, if you want it to be. Or is it going to be all Federation?
I think we should decide now.
Yeah.
I think
Thoughts?
joint makes sense, right?
Yeah.
No thoughts?
Nope. I'm indifferent.
Okay.
Yeah, same here.
Indifference.
Liz?
I'm still on the Flingons.
Okay. I broke Liz. I'm sorry.
So,
I do
One
like
thing-
the idea of it's the Fed God ship.
Klingon ship.
Federation
I'm making that a
Klingon, that's
trait.
what it says. So on the Combs we had the drone and the droids.
Which was
If
a
we
lot
say-
of efforts, but yes, go on.
Can we? Do we have to have them as base traits, or can they be considered, you know, bonus traits that we have because we already had them? Just so
Well-
we have space for other ones.
Yeah, this is the thing. Again, this is going to be the template from which other ships
Oh, okay.
are made, if you think about it that way. So, which traits would be across the board for every ship that uses this space frame from now on, or which are interesting little quirky things that would be maybe just for individual unique ships. So, yeah,
Sorry.
go on.
Can I suggest that we also have? I think with the weapons we've got, taking one of the traits from the Combs, which is expert engineering team, is probably what this ship needs.
Sure, but doesn't that suggest something of the individual crew that flies it? Otherwise, if you put it as a trait here for the template, it suggests that you only can ever have top-of-the-line engineering teams to run this. Otherwise, it just won't work. So, I'm not saying no, I'm just saying what that suggests to me if you use it as an across-the-board, applies to every ship that uses this template trait.
After this, every ship must have the top of the class of the engineer students.
Yeah,
No
so-
one below the first 25%. It has to be the top 25.
Sure.
So
That's what I'm
so
getting
that
at.
means I have to create a new character because more than likely Tavish is going to have to go to Starfleet Academy and start teaching these idiots about
Wow.
how this shit works.
If that's what has to happen. But it could be something else, like rather than top-notch engineering team, it could be something like highly efficient engineering department, or something like that. Suggesting that there is...
Let's think of some other traits because it's not worth putting that down just yet.
But at the same time, top-of-the-line and Federation Klingon collaboration traits are pretty broad encompassing of themselves, and so anything else can just be considered a stamp of our unique identity on individual ships. Unless any of you can think of something that would apply to across all ships, then we can leave that there. Because to me, the interesting thing about a Federation-Klingon collaboration means that anybody else, that the Klingons and Federation visiting this ship, are going to be scratching their heads as to who the hell built this thing? It's just a mishmash. But at the same time, Federation folks are going to be complaining about the very, very Klingon type of approach to building this thing, when then the Klingons are going to come along and complain about the very, very Federation way of constructing
I've got a trait. I do have a. I have an idea for a trait, which would be.
Liz, hold on to it. Dave, say your idea.
So, which would be seen as, if this is a collaboration between Federations and Klingons, yeah, their computer systems are very. They're not the same. So having a kind of universal kind of system where, you know, I don't know, you can press a button and it goes from being the computer's showing up like Federation stuff, it goes to showing up Klingon stuff. So basically, you know, no matter whether it is Federation or Klingon using those systems, yeah, it's easy to navigate. You know,
what
there's
was your idea, Liz?
A trade where only Federation doctors are allowed on the ship.
So it's entirely peopled, crewed by doctors.
No, like any medical staff has to be from the Federation. No Klingon medical personnel, they're not good.
Again, is that an across-the-board thing for this template of ship, or does that apply to just a recommendation for the crew that pilots them?
I almost want to put it across the board, because I don't want crews to have to deal with Klingon bedside manner.
Ooh, interesting. What do other people think?
And then the previously mentioned traits or potential
in regards
traits
to
to add
making
in.
it a trait.
I think it's a bit discriminatory against Klingons, a little
is.
bit.
I mean, that's the negative portion.
There might also be a positive to that.
The positive is they're getting good medical
Yes,
treatment.
exactly.
Because they
So,
explain how.
you know.
Is it like mixed crew?
Yeah, it's a mixed crew, but except for the medical department. The medical department is solely Starfleet.
I'm going to create a trait based on the idea that Dave gave, which I think was a good one. I'm gonna
Universal
call it interface switching.
Okay.
I have a...
I was going to say universal computer systems. That's the actual name. I don't know, but I like interface switching as well.
I have an idea.
Sure.
Sort of similar to Dave's. In that experimental technology. So that what with the experiments we do already on the Combs and the spore drive and stuff like that, it's easier for us to plug stuff in and try it out, but also that makes us more prone to, I guess, technical susceptibilities.
Modular systems.
Exactly.
I like these ideas. Let's keep them for now, and if anything seems stupid later on, you can always just say it didn't make it out of the prototype phase. So, modular systems. So, what I'm reading into that is that as a result of it being a Federation-Klingon collaboration, they had to find a way of making sure that everybody of those two polities could interface with the systems as quickly and directly as possible. So they created some kind of universal interface system, which to me suggests an advantage in that it allows Federation and Klingon crews to be able to interface with the systems pretty easily. But at the same time, it's so universal, it's not specialized in any way, so it's only got basic commands available for any speed. So complex, potentially complex stuff being done by the computer system or the interfaces will probably take longer. Same goes for modular systems. If you make things generalist, then they will apply to every situation, but you won't get any specialization out of it. So this, to me, almost suggests that the guys creating this new type of ship are trying to create a new type of interface like the LCARS system, but an even more universal modular system interface than the LCARS. So, as well as being a prototype ship, you might be prototyping a new computer interface system.
Don't worry, with complex stuff, we have a Nihilo. And ships' computers don't have anything on a Nihilo.
So we'll call it the USI. USI! Universal Systems Interface. So the ship is trialing a new computer interface system, which again suggests both positives and negatives. Right, are we good with this? So
Yeah.
this brings us to special rules. I don't know. I can't think of any, because essentially you've created this thing as trialing out a new interface system, but also having incredible levels of kaboom. So, I'm not sure you need any special things. It seems pretty clear what you're going for here. Yeah, unless anyone can come up with anything, I say don't bother with special rules. We'll just carry on going. Refits, there's going to be no such thing as refits because this is a brand new off-the-shelf model. Does anybody have a line on what we're going to call this space frame? Because you've got the Intrepid class for Intrepid class ships, you've got the Sovereign class for Sovereign class ships, you've got the, you know, the Navar class ships and the Vorcha class ships. What class of ship would this be, do you think? What naming convention would you like to give these classes of ships?
I suggest one, which is actually part of the Star Trek universe.
Go on.
And it is actually one I suggested a while ago, which was
Oh, the
the Kittimer.
The Kittimer.
Yes.
You want it to be the Kittimer class ship.
That sounds cool.
I mean, we could also name it the Narendra class.
Yeah?
Ooh, actually,
Or the Narendra class, yes.
yeah, I kind of like the Narendra class.
Because, I mean, it was made at Narendra Station.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
true.
It would be a good reason to call it that. What does everybody else think? Mark, Connie, Chris.
No, I
Muscular
like that.
class.
I think I like the Kittimer class, considering it's like, you know,
Yeah.
meant to be a Federation Klingon collaboration.
And it has a good bit of alliteration going on in there.
And that's also the main reason why I said Narendra, since it is a Klingon Federation starbase.
Sure, you could have the USS Narendra as a Kittimer class ship. So you don't have to abandon it, you just have to, you can...
Oh, hold on, did we just get the class and name our ship just then?
Did you, indeed?
Have it as a
You want it to be a
Kittimer?
Narendra class and it be the USS Kittimer.
No,
Yeah.
I like the Kittimer class. And have it as the it depends on if people still want to call it Combs. I'm
That's a good
I'm
point.
not gonna. Yeah.
Do you want to keep the Combs name?
I think so. I think, shorthand, it'll be the Combs A.
Yeah.
But, yes, I'm down for Kittimer class keeping the Combs name. That's my vote.
Combs A of the Kittimer class. Huh.
Our animes would be like, oh, they're just sending the Combs, and they're like, no, it's the Combs A. And then they'll be like pooping their pants.
It's the Combs.
It's the Combs.
Oh, sorry.
Wait, no. If
like
we're going with the Combs, because wasn't the original Enterprise the Enterprise A, the Enterprise or the Combs B, and the old Combs was the Combs A.
Sure, but we can make it the Combs A either way.
I think the original series Enterprise was just the Enterprise. The A was like in one of the movies.
Yes. But you usually slap on the letter at the end if it's not the previous one, essentially. And there was a big upgrade between the old Constitution class and the film era Constitution class, if you want to go that way. But either way, if you want to go A or B, doesn't matter to me. I'm either rhyming or I'm getting alliteration in, so I'm very happy with myself. So, we're calling it the Kittimer class, and we're naming the first ship of this class to be the USS Combs A?
Mm-hmm.
Combs B?
Yep.
Combs B? Because we've already had one Combs. Well, it's Combs double B.
It wasn't the Combs A, though. This would be the Combs A.
Okay, so Combs A.
And the next one will be the Combs B with the two Bs.
So this is a Kittimer class ship. So the last thing we do now is something I did miss out, which is choose the ship talents that come as a default. Each space frame is able to have a number of talents equal to its scale, and some of these are inherent to the space frame, regardless of the mission profile. So, as a rule...
How many talents does it get?
As a rule, a ship will have as many talents as it has scale, but you usually have to leave room in the talents that it comes with as a default to give enough room so that people can mix in talents to do with the ship role. So, if it's a multi-role explorer, it will have maybe improved impulse drive and stuff like that in order to make it a better multi-role explorer. So, if we use the second edition rulebook to look at the Sovereign class, for instance, it has got 3 talents that come as standard: command ship, emergency medical hologram, and improved warp drive, as well as having a special rule. So, when it comes to choosing which starship talent comes with the Kittimer class, what do you see?
Ooh.
Ablative armor.
So,
Yeah.
ablative armor is standard.
Ablative armor. Oh yeah.
Also, would we want events? It as well.
Would you want what? Sorry.
Advanced
The
shield.
events.
So
Yeah, 'cause
every
that gave
ship
us a lot of
comes
shields.
with these as standard.
Yeah.
So ablative armor will bring the resistance up by 2, which brings it up to a ridiculous 7. Okay.
Oh,
Not high enough.
Hold on. We have talents, don't we, in the second edition?
Combs. The
No,
reduced center
this-
silhouette is a bit weird.
There's actually starship talents in the
Yeah,
items.
Yes.
Yes. So in the items directory under second edition, there are starship talents, and that is all the starship talents that we have available so far. I don't think I added any from... What's the latest source book? Aliens and Allies. I don't have that, so nothing new from there at the moment. Obviously,
If we
certain
just-
talents only come at certain points in time. Yes, Connie, sorry.
So just saying, if we've already selected a role, shall we just choose one from the?
Well, again, this is
List of-
setting up the template first. Making
Right.
the Combs A or the Combs B is a separate job in and of itself.
Okay.
This is us creating the template from which the prototype template from which the Combs A will be constructed. So for now, if anybody else were to choose the Kittimer class of ship, what ship talents would it come with as default?
So going for the ablative armor like we have on the Combs and the event shields.
So any ship that is Kittimer class will have that extra ablative armor and therefore be ridiculously resistant to damage.
How about
I
that
like that
How about each ship also comes with a backup EPS conduit, which is when the ship is shaken and loses reverse power, you roll a d20, and if the roll is equal to or under the structure, you regain the reserve power.
And you've given it a 50-50 shot with that, so because you chose 10 structure, so you got a 50-50 shot of not losing reserve power if you put backup EPS conduits as standard.
Two the talents I was going to suggest was either advanced sensor suites, because then the ship can roll 2d20 instead of just one d20 as an assist, or a EMH.
Emergency medical hologram, yes.
Because I know we already have one.
But would
Oh.
you like it to come as a standard to all
Standard.
ships of this class? Yes. Yep, these are all good recommendations.
We could always have the emergency medical hologram and the backup EPS conduits, because dear lord, the amount of time you could lose reserve power.
Yep, it's a good consideration.
Well, a celebration of being Kittimer class. Would it be crazy to suggest a cloaking device?
Well, I was going to mention it.
Hold on, we can have a cloaking device.
Well,
Ooh.
Connie
Isn't
makes
that
a good
illegal?
point.
Game Master's discretion.
This, this leans into how much of a collaborative. Because the interesting thing about that is, you can. It's going to introduce some interesting, shall we say, diplomatic discussion. So if this class of ship comes with a cloaking device as default, it will. There'll be some interesting diplomatic discussions. The Romulans will probably kick up a load of fuss about it, but then equally the Klingons could come in and say, "Well, we built this with them, and the treaty doesn't apply to us. We're allowed to have cloaking devices, and this is a Klingon-made ship as much as it's a Federation-made ship. So we have a right to put a cloaking device on one of our ships, and this just happens to be one of our ships."
One thing actually, we're
Sure.
only in the 24th century, right?
Correct.
Damn, because
Yes.
the tachyon detection field would have been chef's kiss.
It would have, but unfortunately we are in 2373 at this point in time, so...
Oh, time machine on the ship. Come on.
So, later on, if this, I can't speak. Let me try that again. If and when the prototype ship template class is accepted, then maybe down the road they create a newer version of that has that tachyon detection grid as standard. I'd find that ironic that the ship that can cloak also can produce a tachyon detection grid. Hey, look, there's a sensor net that's moving. How's that working? Anyway.
Don't worry about it.
The interesting thing about the modular systems traits I brought up earlier,
Yeah.
there is potential to have modular laboratories. It's
Yes.
very science
Yes.
centric though.
Yes. And you might get that kind of talent with a science-based mission profile anyway, but the same goes for the ablative armor. You tend to get that as standard across like a battleship mission profile. So again, it's the consideration of what things make this class of ship unique and therefore have this configuration of starship talents as standard. Would modular labs be a thing that you see it having as standard? Especially since it does, the distribution of department points suggests that science is one of its leanings. So, final say. Do we think... I mean, I kind of like Liz's idea that the backup EPS conduits as standard is a good indication, especially considering the armament of this ship is specifically designed to knock down other people's power systems. If this ship itself has its own backup power systems, it kind of speaks to, we can do this to you, but you can't necessarily do this back to us.
Hmm.
Plus, the amount of times we were shaken last battle.
Sure.
Could you imagine if we also lost our reserve power?
So, do we reckon that backup EPS conduits is a viable one to put across every ship of the Kittimer class?
Yeah. I think so.
Mark, Dave, Chris?
I like it.
I like it.
Same here.
Backup EPS conduits. That's 2. Mention was made with advanced sensor suites, and again, we've got science. But again, emergency medical hologram tends to be standard across most ships that are newly made at this point in time. And there's the consideration of the cloaking device.
I like the cloaking device because that makes it rarer. It's unique.
And Klingon.
And a collaboration? Yeah. And it's and we we stripped a Klingon ship as well.
Yeah, good point.
It does make sense. Yeah, I do like that.
Cloaking device is standard?
Yeah. That should be like 3 should be good enough for now. They can always add
3
more.
should be good for now. So
At least standard. I
that
would
then
say.
leaves 3 talents room for people who want to choose a different ship role, and it gives them a more flexible choice then of what talents to choose for their own ship's unique mission profile. Are we good with that?
Yep, I'm good with that.
Any final considerations, questions, comments? No. All right then. Then we can consider that the default Kittimer class space frame. Now, I'm not going to ask for the image for it, because there is one out there from Star Trek Online, and David's posted it once already, but we'll see.
Do you want me to post it again?
If you want to, but, you know, that can be almost like homework for folks if they think they want to go away and have a look at different ways that this ship could appear. But this does now mean that the bit you were waiting for, which is actually making the Combs A or B.
I think we'll just go with the standard Combs A, and then the other one's just
Combs A.
the original. It's the
done?
original, and then
What have I done?
we're just going down the letters.
Well, fuck, I'm an idiot. Excuse my language. Did I just lose all of our work? I think I just lost all of our work.
No.
No, I can still see it.
Yeah, I can still see it as well.
Where can you still see it?
Oh, I still have it up.
Yeah, I still have it open.
Right. Read
Oh, it
to
doesn't
me
exist.
communications.
I'll give you one better. I got a screenshot.
Computers.
11.
Engines.
Mark's just put up a screenshot.
Thank you. Got up. Right. Engines 8. What an idiot. Sensors. Structure. Tune. Weapons 11. Command doesn't get a look in. It's engineering. Whoops, that is not a valid character for that. Security and science. We're calling this the kit or I can't spell now, apparently. Class. Starship. Space frame. The resistance was all the way up to silly little 7. Starship talents were ablative armor,
That was
backup
the picture I
EPS
posted.
conduits, and cloaking device. And then the really funny bit was the Starship weapons.
I don't know what you mean by funny. It's great.
Ion array and the transphasic torpedoes.
So I am curious on what General Cargan and Beck think when it comes to the weapons.
Well, General Kargan is probably salivating, and Admiral Sobek is probably one of the people who helped design this ship in the first place.
Inspiration.
I'm still calling it a fling-on ship.
I'm calling it it's the Fed-on ship.
No, I like fling-on. Fling-on sounds much funnier.
Yes, but I'm trying to not die laughing over here.
Well, that's no good. Modular systems. Right, is that everything? Have I recreated that? Yes, I have. Let's prototype that. Kit class. And as a default, it comes at size 6. Yes. Right. Wicked. Now let me create a duplicate of that because we need to create the USS Combs. Is it going to be A or B? Final word.
A.
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 Yes, the next time we build a new ship's gonna be a B. We're just gonna keep
Next
upgrading
time?
ships.
Ah, you want me to blow it up? Right, and that's the case, then the Combs's designation number was NCC74658A. The space frame is Kitom class. Service date is 2373. Refits 0. Mission profile. Well. Which mission profile are we choosing, guys? Are we staying with multi-role explorer or what?
I'm leaning towards multi-role and then using the
Multi-role
points to specialize.
That's good.
Chris?
I beg your pardon, sorry?
Which role do we want? People are leaning towards the multi-role explorer, so they've got something of everything?
Yeah, no, that was... Yeah.
Yeah?
Flexibility in it.
Okay. Multi-role explorer. Just like the original. Which means that comes with command goes to 2. Con goes to 2. Engineering is usually 2, but because of the inclination, that goes to 3. Security goes to 3. Medicine goes to 2. Science goes to 3.
Where is it?
I am building it now. Give me a sec. It is under USS Combs and crew and ships in the ships folder. So, Multi-Role Explorer gives you those. It allows you to increase any one system by 1. So, what would you put the extra 1 into? Communications, computers, engines, sensor structure, or weapons?
Weapons.
I heard that.
I mean, I'm torn between weapons and structure.
Either way, improving those numbers would... If you improved weapons, it would not add any more to the damage of the weapons, but if you improved structure, it would add 1 more resistance.
Do it. Structure then.
Yes, structure.
We got 11s and 8s, so that's a nice, neat layout.
Yep.
So Mark isn't twitching too much. Okay. Got it good. And do it. We have, well, if you go to the 2nd edition's core rulebook, on page 218 is the list of talents that you get with the Multi-Role Explorer. So we get improved hull integrity, improved power systems, redundant systems, rugged design, and secondary reactors. And you have got 3 of those that you can choose, essentially. To be unique to the Combs A. So, what are we thinking? The improved hull integrity, if I find it, I'm looking at weapons, that's why I can't find it. I'm a special kind of boy. Improved hull integrity would increase the resistance again. But improved power systems mean that when you attempt to regain power, to get the reserve power back, the difficulty is reduced by 1.
That's not a bad option.
Redundant systems is an interesting one because you select a single system. So communications, computers, engines, When that system suffers a breach, crew may choose to activate the backup, the redundant system backup, which immediately causes that breach to be patched. But it can only be done once per episode. But it represents you having a backup system to that breached system. But that's an option. Rugged design means that it's easier to repair in a star, or breaches and patches and stuff. Overall, the ability to repair the ship is that much easier because it's made in such a way that it's kind of similar to that modular design ethos. You can just pull a panel away and just fit a new one in, or pull a system away and plug a new one in, because it's made in such a way so that if something fails, you can just pull something out and put its replacement in really, really quickly. Then, of course, secondary reactors. Once per scene, when you take the reroute power action, you can spend 2 momentum to immediately regain use of reserve power. So, what that means is, if you ever choose to use reserve power to make the ship assisting roll be an immediate 1, rather than that taking away your reserve power, you can spend 2 momentum to get reserve power back immediately. So those are your ship's talents for Multi-Role Explorer. which ones sound good to you?
Or resistance.
More hull resistance?
I'm just looking now as well.
Let me check.
I see two that I like as well.
Which one?
One of them is... I haven't even finished reading all through the page. One of them is Slim Sensor Silhouette, which I feel like the cloaking device is a bit wasted now. So it's sort of
Well,
like...
the cloaking device is the slim sensor silhouette is what we had on the Combs original as a workaround of the
Cloaker device, yeah.
Not having. Yeah.
cloaking device. So we don't need. It would be one or the other.
Okay, but the cloaking device can't attack while cloaked.
No.
But Slim Sensor Silhouette can.
True.
And in both cases, shields are deactivated. But then, the idea of a cloaking device is, more collaborative. So just thoughts there. The second one is... Oh.
I hasten to
see.
note that that's not on the list of multi-role explorer talents to take. Unless you were talking about replacing the cloaking device from the Kittimer class and replacing it with the reduced sensor silhouette so that it's somewhere in between. But go on.
Maybe.
It's a consideration.
Consideration. Something to bring up.
Yeah.
Trying to look again now. Oh. Sorry.
That's alright.
You guys keep discussing. I'm just still looking at the what's there.
The two I like are the improved hull integrity and the secondary reactors. They're the ones which have kind of caught my eye.
Any thoughts, Chris?
Not at the moment, sorry, no.
So no preferences either way.
No, not particularly.
It is the improved hull integrity.
Yes.
That can give us an actual +1 somewhere rather than.
Yes, it'll give you extra resistance.
Yeah.
Which
So I
means
do
we'll
like
have
the
resistance
idea.
9.
Yeah. For comparison, the Combs had resistance 5.
5? Matt's gonna really start trying to get the piercing qualities against some battles now.
1, 2. Yeah. Was that right? I'm sure that was right. So it was 2 originally, plus structure of 7, 8 is another one, and then ablative armor makes it. Yeah. So this thing's a monster.
Matt's gonna make sure they all get piercing against.
Yeah, as I said, my thing was secondary.
Secondary reactors
Improved
and maybe the improved hull integrity.
Yeah.
The only thing I think with the secondary reactors, where you spend 2 momentum to immediately gain reserve power, with backup EPS conduits, that's only if it's shaken.
Yes.
Shake.
Yeah.
Well, most times we lose reserve powers.
Reserve power.
and
Yeah.
shaken almost at the
Yeah.
same time. So, and we have a little better odds of getting reserve power back.
Which is, yeah, 11 out of 20 for suspending to momentum. They're a bit. I wonder if maybe to me they're a bit too similar in function.
Up to you.
Yeah, I kind of like the hull integrity of making 9. So if Matt does hit us without piercing,
Oh yeah, very little goes through that if you don't, if it isn't pimped up with creating
Pierce.
that kind of thing. But that's, you know, that's the point, and that's the usual thing that you have, the hoops you have to go through when fighting a much bigger class of ship anyway, is you have to consider your tactical options and setting up your advantages that you're going to need to get through their resistance. So
Seeing the USS Combs A being like the last line of defense kind of thing, like, or well, yeah.
So I'm hearing a lot of support for improved hull integrity to make it even more resistant.
Oh yeah.
Let's throw that in the pile then. You've got 2 more to choose from. Improved power,
That list.
redundant systems, rugged design, secondary reactors. I mean, you could technically choose redundant systems twice and have, like, redundancy for, I don't know, structure, and have redundancy for weapons. So if they either have, or engines even, have redundancy for engines, so if they either take a breach, you bring on the redundant system.
I actually like that.
So if improved power systems and secondary reactors sound too close, and you've got the backup EPS conduits anyway, as Connie pointed out, then really the only thing left is rugged design and redundant systems. So rugged design will make repairing stuff easier, and
Which is a good idea.
yes, and redundant systems means that if you choose a system that you think is deserving of having a backup to, so that if it ever takes a breach you can negate it without having to use Phlesk's ability to do so, that would also go in there.
Yeah, I think we take both redundant systems and rugged design.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Alright, redundant systems, rugged
Which
design.
system are we thinking?
Well, indeed, that's the question. Which system do you think requires a backup?
Life support.
So, yeah, that would suggest, you know, engines, because that's where all the power comes from. Or structure, because, you know, structural integrity is very important, and therefore not getting sucked out into space is a big priority. So which system do we think needs a backup? Comms, computers, engines, sensors, structure, or weapons?
Ooh. Engines or
Structure, I'd say. Structure or engines.
Yeah, same here, and that's what I can't choose
Engines.
between the two.
What are we most concerned with then? Engines or structure?
I'll put a vote in for structure.
Okay.
and to complicate things, I'm putting a vote in for engines.
I'm
Liz?
putting a vote in for engines.
Engines 2, structure 1. Liz, where are you going?
I don't particularly mind either.
Abstaining. Connie?
Same as Liz. No preference really.
Hang on. No preference. That takes 2 abstaining, 1 for engineer. What was it? 2 for engineering,
Sure.
1 for structure?
Yeah.
So I'm afraid you've been outvoted, Chris.
No, that's fine. Engines are fine.
Engines. Redundant systems, engines. Hopkins. You have to wait, I'm sorry. When it comes to 5, yeah, we can do that. Right, so you have redundant systems engines, your hull integrity has been improved, your ship is even easier to repair, and as standard it comes with ridiculous extra armor and a cloaking device and backup power. My god, this is a beautiful system. This is a beautiful ship. The only last thing I have to look for then is small craft readiness.
I'm assuming that the captain will be bringing her Klingon vessel.
Oh yeah, the creature is definitely coming.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, the creature had an accident on the travel to the new ship, and I've tried to talk to the Klingons, and they said, "Well, you broke it, so we're not giving you another one."
Small craft readiness 186. The starship contains several smaller craft. While transporters reduce the need for several craft, there are sometimes small craft readiness rating is equal to the ship's scale -1. Ooh, it's bigger than I thought. You have a small craft readiness rating of 5. So what that gives you is, yeah, we have the Guicha. Let's maybe put that in there. The, how do we spell that? The Cha? That is a small craft size of 2, if I recall. Yeah, it's got a scale of 2, so that's 2. So we've got 3 left. So essentially, you have got the option of having... so, small craft readiness doesn't mean that's as many ships as you've got in your shuttle bay, but it means as many ships as you have the space to be active, ready for immediate launch at any one time. So, worker bees are scale 1. A shuttlecraft is also scale 1. The Guicha takes up space of 2, so you've got a space of 3 remaining, so you could either have, like, 2 shuttles and a worker bee, or 1 shuttle and 2 worker bees, or you could have a runabout, which is another class 2, and 1 shuttle, or a runabout and 1 worker bee, or any derivation thereof.
Can we have a runabout and Shutty the shuttle?
You could have a runabout and Shutty the shuttle.
How does people feel about that?
Yeah. I mean, we never use worker bees anyway, did we?
It's a good point.
No.
A very good point.
So at any one particular point in time, you have got Shutty, the shuttle, ready for launch. Let me find him. USS Shutty the shuttle. There we go. Which is a scale 1, which means that you have got room for a runabout. Okay.
What are we calling the runabout?
What are we calling the runabout?
Runny the runabout.
Shutty and Runny. Alright then.
What nod? No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Now I'm curious which we call the Guicha. We should give it a nickname.
Well, the Guicha is technically a class... Oh, what is it called? It is a Katoch class shuttle. So I don't know. But what I'll have to do is find a second edition version of a runabout and bring it in.
Just call it Runny. I just feel like I just feel like the Klingons and like and Starfleet High Command are literally just going, why are they naming their shuttles this way?
All right.
Yeah, we have Shutty A, B, C, all the way down to as many we have.
Shutty the shuttle can never die, merely the shuttle that portrays it.
Can I actually ask you a question, Matt.
Of course.
With the size of ship we have now,
Yes.
does this ship have the capability of bringing our families along?
It is a massive sized ship, but it is a ship that seems geared for, well, exploration, so... Well, that's up to you. Do you think that you would build this ship with the intention of being able to house civilians on board? Because essentially the deck layout is entirely for you guys to... I mean, we don't even know how many decks there are on this thing. We'd have to use other ships as a reference and go from there. But that's now for you to determine.
I think so. I think it opens up a lot of opportunities having like civilians with different specialties and that.
Ooh, interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Like Keiko O'Brien with the botany. I forget the name of the actual arboretum. Stuff like that.
Actually, I've just thought about this. I don't think we can do that. Because, perfectly honest, 90% of the civilian population are going to be Phlesc kids.
That is a very good point. Phlesk's family would take up an enormous amount of space, yes.
I think Phlesc is only allowed to take a small portion of his family.
Well,
it's a small portion.
That is a small portion.
Yeah,
so
I like the idea as well.
That would be a trait for this ship, would be civilian contingent. It has positives
the Klingons can also have their family. Oh dear lord, the Klingons can have their families too.
Yeah, the Klingons will be bringing their guys on.
Does this open us up to like what's it called? If we need planetary evacuation again, we have more capacity for that as well.
Yeah, we can have a small, well, not small, but we can have a place where they have their own rooms and stuff. Yeah.
So. Interesting.
Sorry, I just thought I asked that question and whether Tavish would want her family on board.
Because that would then suggest that if families are being brought on board, that means children are being brought on board, which means there needs to be a school on board.
Yeah, we should have the space, but keep the families at Narendra Station, I think.
Yeah, we just have the option for when we're moving, they don't have to go on a separate ship. They can just be like, hey, we'll transport them.
Okay.
Except for Phlesc. Phlesc is getting their own ship.
Phlesc is getting his own deck, I think.
Phlesk's family could go on a separate ship. Except for maybe his first wife and immediate children.
So, yes, what we were talking about before with a mission pod, rather than a mission pod, we need the family pod. A whole block of ship attached to the back.
I feel Tavish would probably bring Aurora with her. And
yeah. Hopkins is definitely
bringing
her adopted.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And also bring in her. I think it's her cousin.
I think you said it was her cousin. Yeah.
Yeah. Who looks after her? Looks after Aurora with her. Or her cousin can just, go away. I don't know.
Well, Tavish is going to be busy working, so can't be there all the time. But yeah. Okay, so there's a civilian contingent, which means that you could, yes, have civilian specialists on board. Neat. I like it. We've got 2 minutes left, guys. Anything else we think we might want to add as a special something to the Combs A? No?
I was...
Go on.
I was going to say, have we ever done diplomatic stuff on the Combs at all?
You have not necessarily in the strictest sense of the word had to do a diplomatic mission. No. But there have been occasions where you've had to talk to folks that you meet on mission.
Okay. I was just thinking of like something specific for that, but it's okay.
So, the only thing we've got left now is for folks to determine what the ship looks like, and whether or not you want to use the image that Dave has offered, or if you fancy going off and hunting for one yourself. Don't make your decision now, because we have time. What I will say is, it being 5 o'clock now, we can essentially stop here, and maybe in 2 weeks' time we come back and we start our first mission with and introduce the new ship.
I do like the picture, but it's good. I just picture it has a lot more decks than shows.
Sure. Well, we don't know the scale of that image, but you know, don't feel you have to agree now. Go away and see if you can find any other instances of images that you think could be used to appropriately show off the ship.
That ship, the actual Kittamar ship, is actually longer than the Sovereign.
Damn.
Like, I think by about 90 to 100 meters longer.
Damn.
It is huge.
Alrighty do. Well, in either case, we will see what this crew gets up to with their brand new prototype class of ship in 2 weeks' time, as long as folks are available on the 31st of May.
Yeah. Now the question is, what is the bridge?
What is the... You broke up right as you said, what is the...
What does the bridge look like? Like, does it...
That is a good that is a good point. Gonna have to redesign the bridge, maybe. We will have to see. Yeah, good point. Well made. But we'll get to that at another time. Anyway, for those folks who were curious and dropped by to have a look, cheers for having a look. We'll put this up on YouTube as well, just for reference. But you know, it's us making a starship, so it's not all that action-packed. But it does give me the heebie-jeebies as to what's possible in the future. Wishes. But thanks for stopping by, folks who did. Everyone else, you know, if you like this, then give it a like. But if not, don't worry about it, because the algorithm's doing all sorts of funny stuff these days. But we will see you in 2 weeks' time for our first episode of the new Combs A. But until that time, live long and prosper, and may glory be found to your house, and we will see you when we see you next. Otherwise, hailing frequencies are now closed.